Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seahawk Talk here on the Salve Athletics Network. We're coming to you live through Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope from Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on all those platforms to never miss a show. We've got a great one lined up for you here today. We'll be joined once again by Jody Moradian with a special round of thank yous from her to some of the amazing people who have been working here at Salve Regina throughout the course of this semester. She'll be followed by Janelle Iaquinto, Bill Villarreal, and Matt Hurd. Can't wait to talk to them and to our producers. But first, as always, we remind you to keep your distance.
Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity.
That is Ed Habershaw with his rendition of Keep Your Distance from The Shake, a Rhode Island-based band. The message that we can apply worldwide. Social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing, all those simple and easy things. We're going to continue to remind each and every person here on the program to do those things every single day. Want to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, to help lead us off here on a Tuesday. Fellas, how are we doing?
Doing well today. Getting into the Christmas feeling. Christmas spirit.
Yeah, it's like Friday.
3 days away now.
Yeah. If you haven't, you better get your gifts now. And if
Oh,
you're trying
tomorrow.
you're trying to order online, not gonna get here. So you might be out of luck.
I was just going to say, Pez, like much of my homework, and I'm sure Joey's too, will be done last minute, and I will be going tomorrow to the outlets to do my shopping.
at a later date, I watched this. We already showed a TED Talk on like mental health for athletes. I watched a great TED Talk about procrastination, and it resonated with me as a master procrastinator myself, especially when I was in school. Not that I endorse it. You live life on the edge when you're a master procrastinator.
Well, yeah.
So you have to have a sense of adventure and thrill. Like, oh, I only have 2 hours to write an entire paper. So it's not advisable. But for those that live that life, the procrastinator life, this TED Talk is for you. So, anyways, what do you fellas have here to lead us off on a Tuesday?
Well, I did tease this story about that is not about but includes our president, Kelly Armstrong, in the Boston Globe. However, I found a cuter story, so I'm going to bring that up and tease this one for the end. So Rhode Island the Patch is doing a year in review of Rhode Island's best animal stories. So I'll go through one of these, each day, I think, because there's quite a few. So I'll try to bring them in whenever we have time. This is Brody, and he was just sworn in by Keith Medeiros in the Bristol Police Department. And he is just an adorable. Yeah, look at this guy. Come on. How can you not? And you know what? And I know he's cute right now. That dog is probably like a killer too if he's going to be in the police department. So
it looks like a Labrador. Yeah, it is a Labrador.
I believe. Yeah, I think it's a Labrador.
No, I scrolled down. I think I saw it say Labrador. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Labrador.
Weird. What is he gonna do? I wonder what Labrador. Oh, therapy dog.
He's gonna doze lightly on the desk. He was sworn in.
That's what his job is. He's a therapy dog. That's what it said. I was gonna say because I'm like Labradors aren't really like a bomb sniffing dog or like an attack dog. Like they're kind of just homies.
It's reverse interrogation, Joe. We're gonna stick you in a room with a really cute dog. You're just gonna be compelled by its goodness to tell.
No, exactly.
The truth.
I think that's his actual secret use.
He is so pure. I am just not worthy. I did it all, officer.
They can ask the questions and then give puppy dog eyes, or like hold the dog to them, and that's how they'll get them to tell.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's
It's
perfect.
like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, please, 5
You
more
wouldn't
minutes.
lie to this dog.
Instead of, hey, you want a donut? You want a Coke? It's like, hey, you want to pet the dog? You get. Tell me what I want to know.
No, and yeah, so they're gonna be doing one of these like every day. So this is gonna. We're not done. There's gonna be more of these.
We're not done.
Yeah, we're not done. There's gonna be even cuter
You
dogs.
ain't
brought
seen
up.
nothing yet.
Nope.
Love that.
Well, I mean, Mike, you had an animal story, so I'm just going to jump right to my animal story, which I meant to share yesterday, but didn't get a chance. So this is from Utah. These have been cropping up all over the place. It's a great idea. Animal bridges, wildlife bridges, because there's areas where there's just the statistics show there's so many accidents because of animals trying to cross a highway or cross a road. And the people either strike the animal and kill the animal, or they get into a bad accident themselves or cause other accidents. So how do you combat that? You build something like this, which is a wildlife bridge to span this highway. It's the largest one in the United States, and I'm going to play this video. It's so cool. I mean, here goes a moose. And so they've got like sticks and rocks and log sticks to try and make it seem. They tell people to stay away from it. Don't go near it. But you can tell, I mean, night and day, they've got the cameras there to track. There goes another moose. We got some deer during the day. Here goes like a jackal.
A jackal?
At night.
Sounds like a cat.
Here we go.
Porcupine.
Porcupine.
Oh.
What do we got? Got a little
Chipmunk
rat
thingy?
guy.
Rat
there.
thing.
I think I froze up.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if he's moving.
Yeah, he's not moving. But anyway, yeah, you get the idea. Really, really cool. Awesome idea. Saves lives all around. So
Yeah.
really, really
Definitely.
smart idea.
Got to institute more of those. Got to put more in.
Yes, definitely. Some places up north where the meese cross frequently.
Meese. I had to think about that when you said that at first. I'm like, what are you? It's like, oh, okay, never mind. Ugh, English.
Moosei.
It's
It's just not
Fun with language and
Ugh.
plurals. Joey,
Yeah.
what do you got?
All right. I have an animal story, but it's like a sad animal story, so I'm not gonna share. And we'll talk about the NBA because it's come back today, I guess, which is weird. I don't even remember, when did it end and who won. You guys would know that. I don't know the answer to that question.
Lakers won, and it was probably October 15th, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all the good ones just went. Okay, yeah, but so apparently, allegedly, I don't know. I guess I don't know who Adam Silver is. I don't know who that is. Commissioner. Okay. He said they might do an NBA expansion, aka adding more teams, and all the posts that were naming off teams disappeared. But some ideas where people want Seattle Supersonic to come back because I guess that was a team back in the day. People were saying something about Vancouver. I don't know if they had a team or like why they were specifically naming Vancouver. Yeah, here it is. Vancouver.
The Grizzlies used to be there.
Okay. Because people are saying Vancouver, Kansas City, and Nashville are two teams that people want, and then Vegas. People like don't want Vegas, but they're like, we're probably gonna get another Vegas team.
It's a
but
slippery
that'd be
slope
cool.
with the Vegas teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more in here that mention like specific teams, but I think that's interesting. I always like when they add new teams. I just like there to be new team names. I don't know. I just think it's cool, like the Seattle Kraken.
New
Right
uniforms. You get all the new.
New uniform. Even like when they the why did I forget what they're called? The Washington Nationals. Like they were just a team that moved, and like it's just fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mix
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, the Seattle Supersonics became the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you got a new team, but they just changed markets and rebranded. The Vancouver Grizzlies moved to Memphis and became the Memphis Grizzlies. Same with the
Memphis.
Jazz
Is that a
were
team
originally in New Orleans and then went to St. Louis and then to Utah. So Utah and Jazz, that's why it makes no sense. Like why
Yeah.
Utah's not this giant hub of
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of jazz music, honestly.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
the
like
Utah
exact opposite.
Bluegrass.
See, I don't know enough about like the NBA to know like any of these teams we're talking about. Like, I've
Seattle
heard of
deserves a
them.
team. Northwest basketball, like Tacoma,
Yeah.
that area, hotbed. Some of the tons of
think
great players have come out of that area. So for them to
I
have
think
their
that's-
team back, they deserve it.
I think just
they've
sports
got
in
the
general.
Kraken now. Give them
Yeah.
back the Supersonics, and we'll start to repair the universe here.
Hey, they have the
setting things right.
Seahawks, so like we're like on the same side, like as also Seahawks.
It all-
So we want them to succeed.
Yeah, we get a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans just tagging
Yeah,
things
we
that have
do.
Seahawks, and they'll be like, "Talk about Russell Wilson." I'm like, "That's not what we're here to do. You're on the wrong channel. Thank you for coming, but you're on the wrong channel."
Yeah.
So
The-
anyway, fellas, we're gonna get moving along, but I know you have plenty more to share, and we'll do so at the end of the program. So I'll let you guys get to work helping to produce the show.
All right.
All right, that's Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We're going to get now to our first guest. I feel like I'm having deja vu. Jody Moradian back again. Jody, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I love, see, now I've started a trend. Everybody's getting festive. Yesterday I had the jacket.
Yep.
Today it's the
Yep.
ugly sweater tie, and you decided
That's
to get...
You
got
can't,
the
you
lights.
can't keep one-upping us. We have to try. You have to get us in the spirit, and you did it. And about that TED Talk, I'll probably get to it maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
The complication.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you so much. And you don't know your animals. My favorite part of the day is listening to you three talk. You don't know your animals that well, quite frankly, but
Yeah. Well, that's why
The
we're
rat, I
we're
think.
communication majors, not anthropologists.
No.
So Jody, you did a fantastic job yesterday with our little thank you segment, and I know we had more people who were deserving of their thank yous who didn't get in.
Yeah.
So I want to do what I did yesterday, and I'm gonna take off the reins here. I'm gonna hand you the reins. You were the host of Seahawk Talk here for the next 10 minutes, and
You're going to hand me the reins, dear?
yes. Your reign
2 for 2.
your reign is now.
Whoa.
So long may she reign. All right, I'm gonna let you just take over. You did a great job yesterday, so just run it back. The floor is yours, Jody.
Thank you. I just like yesterday when they give me my 10 minutes of fame, I want to make sure that I took the time to thank all the people that have just gone above and beyond. Obviously, this has been a crazy year, and everybody has done all sorts of extra things, but we did have such a strong group that had helped the university, particularly with COVID and COVID testing. So we got to see most of them yesterday, and it was David, Amanda, Emily, Rebecca, and of course Jenna. Matt heard, and he'll be on later today too. But Jenna Park, like, how nice to see young people that selfishly step up and do things. And it was fun to hear what she had to say. And I also wanted to say, if anyone does want to give, there's plenty of time for us all to try and help those who need things during this time. So on our website is the link to giving, so we can provide food for families that need it over this time. I had also wanted to recognize Greg Delayed, KJ Jones, Corey Hughes, and Janelle Iaquinto. They all, along with everything else we've asked them to do, they actually were doing shifts and long shifts, week-long time blocks to help the university test faculty, staff, and student athletes. And I know that the university wouldn't be open, quite frankly, if we hadn't had these people step up. And so I had just wanted to also mention them, and you've seen the graphic. And then we did quickly before, it really is a season for us to reflect. And we had more friends, family, alumni give back to our student athletes than ever before. We did a giving Seahawks Take Flight, and that's special. So in this time when everybody is busy, everybody's in a different frame of mind with real life concerns, it just warmed our hearts. And that type of thing, it will directly help our student athletes. And there's all sorts of needs. We don't even know what our needs will be this spring. We do know, or we do hope, we'll have every single sport going at once. So you can only imagine the need for uniforms and different things that will enhance the experience that we really need them to have. And we also had our student athlete advisory committee step up, and they individually, without being able to be in touch, just gather outside of our building, collected food for over 40 families. And they actually were able to take it to Rogers High School, and students received bags to take home. So some really special things that I thought happened. And so I didn't know if anybody, so Janelle.
Hi, how are you?
I need to get your perspective. Like, do you like the lights first off?
Oh, I love the lights. I love the lights and the Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Very festive.
So I did want to thank you though, because you've always been somebody that, what does somebody need? And then you do it. But it's one thing within athletics, and obviously with your students. I know you were delivering Thanksgiving food at Thanksgiving, and that means a lot. And I want to make sure other people understand what it means when you're going to a grocery store gathering Thanksgiving food, so our student athletes don't feel all alone. And but then on top of all this, and your team actually practiced this fall, somehow you actually were able to help the university and do the COVID testing. So I mean, that it's one thing to help ourselves. Sometimes I think we act in a bubble in athletics, but to do that, I just wondered what that was like. Did you meet people? I mean, were people afraid? Like, what was your experience doing all that?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you so much. I mean, we've all been asked to step up and be creative and supportive and collaborative and, across all fronts in the university. And I think in doing so, it's eased a lot of our nerves and just the unknown and what's going to come, and having to adjust to being more in the present and focusing on different aspects of training and coaching in our jobs. So it was hard, but I think as we started to cross some checkpoints with just getting kids back to school, getting them moved in, waiting for our 2 weeks, and just having our athletic staff and our trainers and the university support us, trying to work with the student athletes to give them some type of comfort and things that we're used to. So that was, great. And then we were able to actually practice. Corey, we were actually able to practice and get some scrimmages, and we would broadcast, our scrimmages and set our lineups a week earlier. And we started tracking points and trying to make things as competitive for our student athletes, because it's been so long since we've gotten them in uniform or had a chance to scrimmage or compete. I think on the university front, it's allowed us as just staff to connect with different people in the university, and just the outpouring appreciation that I think we've all gotten as coaches has been wonderful. It really does make us feel good when we are in the grocery store shopping for stuffing and, things to make our kids. But the families were so appreciative of a small act and, a couple of hours of time to make them feel good on Thanksgiving and make them feel like they had something to look forward to. So it's been a tough year, but looking forward to the spring and hopefully getting us back on the field and us back in the office and in a safer environment so we can get back to doing what we all love to do.
Yeah, it has been the strangest year for sure. So Corey, like, we really do appreciate, but you guys were sitting right there when all student athletes, all staff were coming through. What was memorable about that? And thank you for doing it, first of all.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, like, were people afraid at first, or?
Actually, the thing that was most memorable for me wasn't even any of the student athletes. It was just incoming freshmen, general incoming freshmen, and you could see that they were nervous. And just kind of like talking with them and cracking a joke and asking them where they were from and trying to kind of make them feel a little bit more at ease. I mean, it's hard enough when you're a freshman coming in. And I think it's particularly difficult for somebody that's not on a team. We talk all the time about when you have a team, you have this built-in family. Those kids that don't come in on a team, a lot of times, sometimes they do feel rather alone, and it's overwhelming to be away from home. And then you have a pandemic going on, and you're being tested, and you don't know if anybody's sick around you. And so, to me, it was interactions with a couple kids that I don't even know if I'll ever even talk to again, that I could tell I made them feel a little bit better, and it made me feel good. So that's what I
Yeah.
remember.
But it is true because we always say that, like, you guys are out checking on kids. You guys are making sure if they were here over Thanksgiving that they weren't alone. We weren't going to let anyone be alone. And that influence of you guys being the first person, one of the first people they really interacted with at Salve, that is kind of special.
Yeah, I think it also helps because, like, Janelle could probably speak to this too. Like, we know almost every like high school in New England. So when a kid comes in and says where they're from, and you could be like, "Oh yeah, the Duxbury Dragons," and they like light up because we know like their mascot. So we had a unique situation where we probably know somebody from their school or something like that because we've been coaching. But yeah, that was pretty memorable. And talking about the Thanksgiving stuff too. I think it helped my kids to feel like they could do something for somebody else, and made themselves feel better in a time that's so crazy. Going out and shopping like they did, they went shopping, and so I think that was good for them.
Yeah, it was
Corey,
because we're all looking for different ways to connect,
Absolutely.
and that was. Go ahead, Janelle.
oh, sorry, Jody. I'm a little delayed on the stream. I think I'm a couple seconds behind.
Oh, you're across the bridge, right?
Yeah, I'm on the island. I was just going to say, Corey is, she was one of the first people that I was able to interact with coming back in the fall. We were doing COVID testing, and it was kind of weird. We didn't really know what we were going to be doing or how that was going to go, but interacted with so many students. And I think just making those connections like, hey, welcome back. And us feeling, or at least pretending like we were comfortable and secure with that really resonated with them. And they were able to, I think, just even have one sense of like a calm breath, like it's going to be okay when I'm here. People know what they're doing, and giving them that confidence. And I was looking to Corey. I'm like, what do we do? How is this going to go? How do we print these labels? And just kind of rolling with it. So, Corey, thank you. You made me feel comfortable, and we were able to kind of help out with kids transitioning back to campus when we didn't
Smoke and mirrors, Janelle. Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
I was learning it too, but after, as you know, with all the kids that came through and all the repetitive nature of what we were doing, it didn't take very long to know what we were doing. At the first like couple hours, you're a little bit in the weeds, and you have to fake it a little bit to make everybody feel a little bit better. But once you get the hang of it, we did it so much. I mean, I saw Janelle almost every day for the first couple weeks. Once we did that, we were old hats. Yeah, we were telling everybody how to do it. So it was nice.
Well,
it was nice interacting.
You're the boss of COVID.
Oh,
that's true.
No, thank you. I do not want that moniker. Thank you.
Too many titles. But Jody, thank you so much, because I mean, you help us just connect with our kids and send out even the reminders like, please don't have these kids feel alone. And I know you guys are working hard and you do so much, and even just the appreciation you have for us, but the support that you tell us to move forward and do what we need to do for our teams and make sure we're putting the kids first. And thank you, because it's just nice to feel that support, and for us to have that reassurance and confidence that we can do whatever we need to do for our staff, for our department, for our student athletes, and just for the Salve community. So thank you. I mean, it's just great. Like, make sure your kids have Thanksgiving. Go cook them like I'm on it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I have to say,
had to cook. That was.
I was going to say the same thing too. It's we do a lot of things as coaches, and I think if you're outside of athletics, I don't think most people know all of the stuff that goes on as far as the interaction that we have with our team. And for as hard as it is for the average student coming in, it's difficult for our kids. They live and breathe for their sport, and they're not able to do it. And it's been a long time since I played, and I have to remind myself, if this was me, I would be absolutely devastated if I was not playing. Absolutely devastated, and just trying to remind myself of that, because as a 50-year-old woman, it's much different. Like, don't worry, you have tomorrow. there is no tomorrow in their minds, so I appreciate as well you acknowledging the stuff that we do, because a lot of it is behind the scenes, and sometimes you just feel like you're treading water a little bit, and also faking it a little bit, right? Janelle, everything's going to be okay. It is going to be okay, but man, the unknown is difficult. The unknown, it's the part like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you have to tell your kids that we're going to have, and you're not really sure. So thank you for that.
And we're not sure. And the only thing I'm sure of is that we have good people. And I appreciate having good people because it makes everybody's world better. If we don't know, we often think we have to know, and we don't. So each one of us has had to adapt. Andrew can't even find a hairdresser. So there's a lot going on in the world that's upset our the balance.
Well, Andrew, I went today, Andrew. I can give you a name if you need one. I got my hair cut today, so.
When we're playing live games again and I'm behind the mic, this will get snipped. That's the deal I've made.
All right, well, I'm telling you
Let's make it happen.
You've got till February 15th. Get your hair done.
Jody, you keep telling me every year it's going to be better. Every year, this is the year. It's going to be good. It's going to be good since I've been hired. Okay. I mean
it this time.
Okay, 2021. I'm year 5.
That's the year. But thank you guys and everybody else, Greg and KJ who couldn't be on, but it's good to have a backbone at an institution, and you represent the backbones and the heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Andrew was trying to crook us out of the episode, but
no, you're doing Jody. I should just let you host the rest of the week. I mean, I'm good.
I did.
Who needs me, right? You did.
Yeah, well, at least I took some time and effort this day.
When you're dressed like that, you brighten every room you enter.
But thank you guys, really, seriously. I can't wait till we're in person, and I can't wait to see all the teams going at once. I used to call it a trifecta when I could go to like 3 games in a day. What do you call it?
We might have 8 games in a day, so you'll get your fix. Octfecta.
But thank you guys. Be safe. Be healthy.
Be safe. Thank you. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye now. Janelle, we are going to keep you around
okay.
Since it's still your segment.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to ask you a simple question, and I think you might enjoy this one. And thank you again for Jody. She ducked out before I could thank her, but great job. Basically just giving her the floor, and no prep work. She was ready to go. So she claims she doesn't know how to do this. She knows how to do all this.
She's awesome. She's awesome. She just doesn't like the spotlight.
Yeah. Janelle, what is your softball origin story?
My softball origin story. Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. I think I started off in t-ball and kind of playing baseball when I was younger, and it was something kind of for my dad and I to do. And, in that phase of where I think you just try a ton of sports, and he always said, you throw really well, you got a good arm, we're going to, roll with this. And that kind of started, and I just got involved in the community and in some teams. And of course, when you get to that level where you get closer to high school, you just want to make varsity and you want to compete. And the travel circuit was nothing like it is now. It was kind of just something cool you did with your friends on the weekends. And then I started pitching in high school, and things changed. So got some formal training, and it really became a part of my life and a big part of my life. And from there, I was fortunate enough to get offers for college and looked at by a bunch of different divisions and universities, and really learned kind of the power of opportunity and creating that for yourself. And I was very fortunate to work with some tremendous coaches that kind of guided me and suggested that I get into coaching a little bit more. And I can't tell you, I never thought that I would be doing this professionally, but I'm just very blessed and thankful that it's led me in this direction. But yeah, I've been every position. I've done everything except catch. That's the only place I really haven't been on the field. And I have no intentions of learning at this point.
Yeah, no, it's not good on the knees. You kind of mentioned the coaching aspect of it a little bit there. Was it something that was ever in the back of your mind, like, plan someday when the time's right, I'll become a coach? Or was it more, people kind of suggested it, and you got out of the game playing wise, and were like, "Gosh, I need to keep softball, and this is how I do it."
Yeah, I think truthfully, it was a combination of a couple of things. I had tore my ACL and had some shoulder surgery in college. So I was rehabbing just as much as I was competing, for most of my college career, at least the last 2 years. And I just was at a point where I felt like I had given everything I could and gotten so much from the sport. But my college coach at the time was sending me jobs, part-time coaching jobs in the Boston area. And, just kept saying to me, it's important, give back, and you have so much knowledge and experience, and this could be something that helps you transition into, your professional aspect in life. And it just stuck from there. And I tell these kids the power of networking and being genuine and authentic and really enjoying what you're doing will take you far. And it's gotten me every opportunity and job without really applying for most of them. And Jody mentioned earlier, just having a foundation of really good people and people you can trust. And that's a big part of my philosophy. And, what I was drawn to as a player, that I hope that I'm giving that, to my players and staff and community at this point in time with coaching. So it just kind of stuck. But I got a call from Marist was my first full-time jump. And I got a phone call from Joe, and he's like, I got this job. I hear you're great. Can you come on an interview? And I think, I can't do this full time. Does this full time? And I was there for almost 4 years. And then, had a great conversation with Jody, and that brought me to Salve, and we're going on year 5. So I'm really happy, but I'm just as anxious and looking forward to getting back on the field and playing again. I mean, I kind of forget what it's like to coach a softball game. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I still have that inner.
That's like riding a bike. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Like riding a bike, right?
I know this year for Christmas, all you'd want is to be playing games. But let's wind the clock back. What's a gift that stood out to you in your mind as a kid? The like Christmas Story, he wants the red rifle. What's the thing as you were a kid, you're like, Santa, please bring me this, like year after year, if you didn't get it, like what was the gift you wanted the most as a kid?
That's a really good question. Where do you come up with these questions? They're so good. Let me think. I remember, this is gonna sound really weird and corny, but
perfect.
My family, we didn't have a lot growing up, and I know that we were always said, what's 1 or 2 things that you want every year for Christmas? And I remember for like 2 years, my younger sister and I were asking my dad, like, we want an ice rink, and he's like, and one Christmas, God love him, he built an ice rink. And he's like, you got to fill it, and it's going to take time. But, we woke up and we had this ice rink in our backyard. And it kind of was something that we got a little spoiled, like, Dad, you're going to build it again, right? All of our friends love it. But yeah, that was a big one. We just loved it. And it was something cool to do. And so that was a big one. And rollerblades. I got denied rollerblades a couple of years until I was old enough. But
do you still want the rollerblades?
No, Andrew, no, I don't need rollerblades.
It's funny. I asked all the hockey guys about, we were talking about playing pond hockey, and I've seen some really ingenious contraptions, people building things in the yards. Or I talked about a guy who would slug a big bucket of hot water in like a crate and had a towel, and he would like hand Zamboni like the pond. Yeah, I'm asking them for like these sorts of like, Yankee ingenuity ideas. And here we go. The softball coach is the one who had the handmade ice rink in the backyard. Are there any pictures of this? Do you have any pictures?
I'm gonna have to ask my dad. I'm gonna ask him.
If you can find pictures, you gotta bring those. That's awesome.
Oh my God, it was huge. Like, we used to have to go out and shovel it, and everybody in the neighborhood, we would have these like makeshift buckets, and we would play, like, the guys in the neighborhood would come play hockey. We'd be ice skating. We'd have music out there. It was like having a pool, but in the winter time. And it was awesome. And my sister and I, we didn't hand Zamboni anything. We weren't that creative, but we were out there on our skates shoveling. And I mean, my dad used to take us ice skating. We grew up in New Hampshire, and we used to hit the ponds and hit the areas and kind of go ice skating there. So it was always something that we did. But God, I'm gonna ask him.
Awesome.
I'm gonna ask him.
Awesome. Great. Janelle, along the lines of what Jody said, thank you for all that you've done throughout this semester. And thank you for taking the time each week to come on here with us, and hope that you have a happy, healthy, and safe Christmas and holiday weekend. We'll talk to you again
Oh,
soon.
you too, Andrew. Thank you for everything. You're always have a smile. I know myself and our team loves having you and having Ed at our games, and you guys are just as much a part of our team and a part of our program as anybody else. So, thank you for keeping this going and for asking great questions every week. I'm gonna have to come up with some good ones for you. I'm gonna maybe ask you on every home game that you're working.
Perfect. I'm down for that.
Awesome. Well, have an awesome Christmas. Happy New Year. And cheers to us all having a better 2021 and getting back together as soon as we can.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. That's Janelle Iaquinto, the head coach of our softball team. We're going to go next to the head coach of our women's lacrosse team, Bill Villarreal. Oh, there he goes. Bill, how we doing?
Good. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. I wanted to ask you something quick. I talked to Rich Bernasconi about this yesterday, and I know we've talked a little bit about professional lacrosse. The Major League Lacrosse and the Premier Lacrosse League have merged, so there's now, at least on the men's side, one league. How important do you think that is for growing the game of lacrosse to kind of have the best teams all under one banner, so to speak?
No, I like the idea that they combine the two leagues. It'll bring back a better group, and they'll be, instead of splintering into their own, we'll have one big league, which will promote it even stronger.
Is it like that on the women's side too? Is there a women's element to those leagues? Is it just mirrored, or is the women's got totally separate
I wish they did. They did have two professional leagues. Now they have one, and the other one I think is that was just put aside about 2 years ago, but hopefully that will come around and they can increase endorsements, and more productive teams. I think will be beneficial for the league.
Yeah. I like asking you these kind of general life questions. What's the best advice you were ever given?
What's the best advice I've ever given?
You've ever been given? Given to you?
Just trying to be, one is this, the commitment level, I believe is important. One, and just to try to be yourself as best you can, and try to, put out information that I think is more from the heart and more from what they believe in, and not really of what they think is going to be important for the other person. If they're just committed to themselves and committed to their programs, I think that would be a big push in the right direction.
Yeah. Aside from playing games and having games, what's the first thing you want to do when COVID is done?
Is just getting together, is one, just getting together and being, not so worried about, can we be close? Can we not be close? It is one thing now to be at a distance, where you can, just high-fiving each other, just being that kind of close is just the simple things. It's nothing dramatic. It's just trying to be back to normal as best we can. Giving the hugs to your family members and things like that, I think it's going to be a big plus. Like I can't wait just to go down to see my grandkids,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even been able to get on a plane and go down. I mean, I know you can, but there's a lot of unknowns out there, and it makes me a little leery about getting on a plane and going down to see them. But I can't wait for that event. As a matter of fact, I just can't wait to get that whole family unity back together again. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's one thing to Zoom and one thing's, to get on the phone, but it's just one thing, just to hold him again and get him used. I mean, he's running around with his lacrosse sticks, which is great, but I wish I could be down there with him,
There's also nothing like yelling at family in person. I mean, it's just not the same yelling at each other.
It's not the same. But it is interesting. I had I have a couple of my kids here, which is great. And just having them into the house again and hearing the laughter and the joking back and forth is a big ordeal.
Yeah. Kind of the same thing. I know this year for Christmas you would want to have vaccines and games and everything. What's a gift that Bill Villarreal wanted really bad when he was a kid? Growing up, what's something that you were like, oh man, please, every year asking mom and dad, please, can I have what?
It's interesting with holidays is kind of it's interesting. I've missed so many things in the past with the military, being away. So being honestly present with my family is the best thing I like. That if it's the biggest item, I really don't have a favorite one, to be honest with you. I think that's a very good question. But what I enjoy the most is really just having family, and as much conversations we can have here is great. It is interesting, but this Christmas, we could have a new puppy in our family, which could be coming this weekend. So we're in the process of adopting a lab, and that I've come with the agency, and we should be receiving the chance to adopt it this weekend. So it's pretty interesting. We just went out today and got the last minute items that we need to get for the puppy, and we're pretty excited.
Is that going to be Bill's walking buddy?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Eventually, I mean, we're getting her as a puppy, so it's like 8 to 10 week old mark, somewhere around in there, and we got to start small, but I don't want to get her out there in the big woods right now. But it is interesting now with we just came off a family walk this morning, and that was great. Just getting out in the wilderness again is there's a lot of nice trails around here.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And now with the snow, it's more interesting. But it'll be good. I'm excited to get her out to the house.
Awesome. Bill, always appreciate you each week taking the time to come on and chat with us. I hope you and your family have a happy, healthy, and safe Christmas and holiday, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Andrew, and you too.
All right, take it easy now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bill Villarreal, the head coach of our women's lacrosse team. We're going to go finally here today to the head coach of our women's track and field team and our equipment manager here at Salva Regina, Matt Hurd. Matt, how we doing?
Andrew, as always, simply terrific.
We've had a lot of discussion about the weather and snow days and things on the program here in the last week. And I know from where you grew up and where you went to school, often you could get some snow deluges. So let's start. Let's cast our minds back. Childhood. What do you remember? Snow day memories from childhood. Any? I imagine snowball fights with the bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't say when we did our snowball fights that it was more rate of fire than it was accuracy. And I think whoever whacked the other guy had to turn and run like heck because the guy who got whacked was just so pissed off. But no, one of the things that I do remember is we had a driveway that was unshovelable. First of all, because it was kind of gravelly, but secondly, it was long. So we had a guy come and plow it, and he built up a huge snow pile. And we were tiny, but we would start to bore into it and make a big old snow fort. There's a tunnel that went from one end to the other, and then a sort of an observation port sticking up, in the middle.
Yep.
It was great. We were invincible.
Awesome. Yeah, I always remember trying to make those same types of things. We never really had. There was like one snowstorm, actually up in North Conway, where we had a winter home that my grandmother owned. I remember one year we got there and they had all the snow and they had been plowed against the driveway. Same deal, into like these 10-foot high big walls, and it was my mind was blown as soon as we got there late at night. And it felt like we were in this like canyon of snow. I was like, it can't really be that big. The next day when I come outside, it's not going to look the same. No, it was massive. So those are always so much fun as a kid to play in. What about college? Up at home of the Mules, Colby College, way up. I imagine the snow and the ice there was probably quite formidable at times.
Well, yeah, I remember getting there as a freshman, and as we started to get into the winter, it's like you're in trouble when they start to build plywood huts over the doors of the dormitory, so you don't get crushed by sliding snow. and it was copious amounts. And I will say, it was a few years ago, so it was probably not so much social. Climate change as it is now. So there was a lot more snow. There was one week that I remember when I was a senior, I think. So I had a car, and it got up to 0 at noon. And
up to
I get into my car. Of course, it was a Fiat, so it was made for the Riviera, and you'd push. It had a hydraulic clutch, so you push your foot in, and it was like trying to move 250 pounds on the leg press because all the oil was congealed.
Yep.
It took 2 hands to shift the gear lever, and when you walked along and you breathed, there was a lot of all the water vapor that you breathed out would instantly freeze on your face. And I did. I was trying to get the Andrew Pizzelli look, and I did have a beard. So it was like frosty in about 5.5 seconds after I stepped out the door.
I know along with the Huts, my sister went to UNH, and I went up to visit her once in December. I think I was probably bringing her home for Christmas or something like that. And I go to inside her dorm, and they had these big signs like "Danger, falling ice." I was like, how frequently is this a problem that they have not like written on a piece of paper like, "Hey, there's ice falling." These are really nice printed metal signs that you can tell where they hang them every year. That's how you know you're getting getting far north.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
that's happening routinely.
Definitely true. And we would go out, during the indoor track season, you couldn't actually compete or train outside. You couldn't run because they wouldn't. I don't think they'd actually plow the roads. They would just beat them down into ice. So so you'd just be slipping all over the place. And we spent almost the entire indoor season. Good thing we had a good field house, which is actually one of the reasons why I went. We had a 200-meter indoor track, which back then was pretty rare. Most of them were little 11 and 12 lap bandboxes, to the mile, dirt floors and things. So this was a great place, although it was built like a paperclip, so that you really wrecked up your ankles. But we spent the entire indoor season inside, not doing any outdoor training at all, which was, okay in some respects, but still you'd like to get out and stretch a bit. 5 days a week of interval training is a little tough.
Yeah. I know you are sometimes a film connoisseur. Do you have any favorite Christmas movies?
Yeah, Andrew, movies, you're right in my wheelhouse, absolutely. Obviously there's A Christmas Story, which I think first, maybe the second time you see him, it's okay, but it's so episodic.
Yeah.
It's not like a real story. It's like this and then this and then this and then this. And I remember Gene Shepard when he had a program on PBS, wee bit before your time, the narrator of that. And then, of course, the schmaltzy ones like It's a Wonderful Life or A Miracle on 42nd Street or those things. But
White Christmas.
Oh, yes, White Christmas, Holiday Inn, all the old Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye movies, absolutely.
I was asking Janelle and Bill this question. I know everybody this year for Christmas wants competition. They just want games. Let's get things back to normal. But in the past for Christmas, what does something say as like a kid? Kind of like Christmas Story, how he wants the BB gun. What was the thing Matt Hurd wanted as a kid? Would always ask Santa, please bring, even if it was pie in the sky, and mom and dad had to go like, ugh, no, it's not. Janelle asked for an ice rink and actually got one year. What did Matt Hurd want as a kid for Christmas?
Holy moly! Gosh, I don't remember. I don't remember anything because it seemed like anything that I wanted, we would go running to Mom. Hey, Mom, can we have this? And she would say, "Oh, sure. Just save up your allowance." Because they knew, I guess, that kids would have impulses, and anything that if we were told that we needed to save up our allowance, the enthusiasm for that particular item would sort of disappear. I honestly can't think of anything, partially also because I'm a forward-looking guy and the past is sort of misty. It has to be a really big deal for me to remember it back 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So I really can't come up with anything, Andrew.
That's fine. So looking forward, short-term, immediate future, what are your plans for the holidays?
Well, it'll be a scaled-down Christmas. My niece is living here with me, so we'll go to see my brother, and that'll be it. My brother, my sister-in-law, the 2 grandchildren, and myself and the niece. That'll be it. Believe it or not, now here's where the virus may have helped out a bit, although it actually created the problem. But I'm going to try to bring my sister, who lives in Burlington, in on Zoom. Oh. Yes, and she was stunned that her brother had any idea how to do that. But of course, since I'm a digital maven, why
you've been forced to adapt, Matt.
And
you've adapted well, clearly.
Yes. Of course, if we had no virus, my sister would be there. This is the first time in I don't know 30, 40 years that she's missing Christmas. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yes, Matt. I always appreciate you each and every week coming on to take the time to join us here on the program and answer all of my questions, whether or not they're easy or difficult, but always appreciate seeing you. Hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe holiday, and we'll see you.
Andrew, I hope that you have a great Christmas, really. We all deserve it. When I was going around and I see all these Christmas decorations going up before Thanksgiving, which normally would have gotten me really ticked off. But now I think we need it. We need all those lights. We need all that stuff because, boy, oh boy, 2020 has been a real downer.
Yes. Well, hopefully next year will be better. That's what we're all banking on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Matt, take it easy now.
You too.
All right, that's Matt Hurd, the head coach of our women's track and field team. We're going to take a short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. Don't go anywhere.
And let it begin with me.
We are here, dear Salve community, during the holiday season and at the end of one of the most challenging years we have ever faced. Despite all of the difficulties, what this year has shown us is that there is an unbreakable spirit at Salve. We have doubled our efforts and somehow found the strength to continue our signature mercy education against all odds. The core of Salve is true and is founded on our community of incredible people, our faculty who are deeply dedicated to teaching and will always find a way, despite all of the obstacles, to support our students. Our staff, who works so hard to redesign our setting and processes to keep us all safe and secure. Our students, who gamely adjusted to a new learning environment and living environment and inspired us daily. Our alumni, parents, trustees, and friends who never stopped supporting and encouraging us throughout the entire year. You are the Salve community, and your spirit lifts us up during and beyond these times. For this holiday season, I send you and your family deep gratitude and best wishes for healthy times ahead as we look forward to a new year filled with light, hope, and peace. God bless Salve Regina, University.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. Want to bring in the producers now, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco, to help close out today's program. Fellas, I always like to get first your thoughts on anything that our guests had to say here today.
Janelle Iaquinto got an ice rink. For God's like, ask and you shall receive. Like, that's awesome. Like, no, that like, what a great dad. Like, that's just, excuse me, what an awesome dad. Like, that is just such a great story that he actually built her an ice rink. Like, and to wake up to it, like, did she not know like it was being built in her backyard? Like, did he do that overnight? We have to. Maybe we should ask her that, because that's
we gotta get him on the show too.
Yeah, we gotta.
Maybe if he can find pictures, maybe we'll get the whole Iaquinto clan on the show. Because you're right.
Yeah.
There's a deeper story there, Mike.
Exactly.
There's
There's something
that need
more.
to be answered.
Maybe
Yes.
Sansa had something to do with it. Who knows? Who knows how that happened? But
Joey, what did you have? Any thoughts from our guests here?
I think Coach Hurd was lying, and he totally knows about something he wanted when he was a kid, and he just doesn't want to tell us because he's embarrassed. I think there's something in there. Like I don't know what, like, a toy that he would be embarrassed about, but there's something he doesn't want us to know. He asked for a cell phone. He never got it.
Oh,
and that's why he doesn't have a cell phone to this day. 'Cause he's still mad at Santa.
I'm sure Matt is actually probably going to think on the question, and I wouldn't be surprised if I get an email tonight, tomorrow, or in the coming days. Like, I thought about that for a while, and I remembered I wanted this Hot Wheels set, or something. Who knows what it could be?
That would make sense.
Or I really wanted this album, or something like that.
There's
So
some
I'm-
pretty
I'm
cool,
sure- I'm-
action
I'm sure
figures.
I'm sure, given time, he'll come up with something. Any other things to close out today's program, Mike? I think you had a story that you were teasing earlier.
Yeah, I've been teasing. If I tease this any longer, you're gonna think it's bigger than it really is. But it is pretty cool though. It's about actually a lot of Rhode Island schools. And it was in the Boston Globe. So it was like how Rhode Island College and other universities, and Salve being one, was mentioned here. So, and Kelly Armstrong, president, got some mentions here, and it was just, the article pretty much goes over how the small schools like work together in an effort to get supplies and all that, and the smaller schools. And they were talking about some of the problems that happened with Providence College, and just a pretty cool article acknowledging how well that Salve and the local universities, these smaller schools, have all worked together to handle this virus.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island is doing pretty bad, but like those colleges.
The colleges themselves,
Except for Providence.
all right.
Except for Providence, we were doing pretty good.
Yeah, this was a couple. Yeah, Pro PC was in there. That's tough.
Like,
there, and if you have been to PC, it's like right in the middle,
right
of
in
the
the city.
heart of. Yeah, it's
I'm
in
looking
close
right now.
quarters. That
These
one's
camps,
tough.
like Salve, you could kind of essentially create a bubble-ish.
Right.
We were,
Right?
yeah.
You're on a campus.
Mhm.
You have a community that's together.
Oh, it's not loading. I want to see how many we ended up with. Okay, wow, way more than I remember leaving with. What the heck happened? But 63 total cases for us as of today. That's not bad.
But
Like-
percentage-wise, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's-
percent. Like that.
Yeah.
Let me see what percentage-wise that is. If it'll come back. We'll never know. No, here we go.
The math.
Overall,
We're not math.
It's my understanding there would be no math.
Overall positivity rate 0.85%. So not bad at all.
No.
That's less than 1%.
A good effort,
but,
I would say.
What I wanted to bring up, and I kind of talked about it at the beginning, but we were talking about like cute animals, and I didn't want to like make it all sad. But any Salve students, or not everybody, got this email today. That unfortunately Sasha, our beloved therapy dog, passed away yesterday or today, I guess. He was a good boy, and will always be the goodest boy. And he will be missing. I'll look at all these comments. I know. Oh, I was like, why are there all my friends it's because I'm on my account, and so it's showing me my friends first, I guess. I'm like, I know all these people. But yeah, Sasha was a good dog, and he will be missed. But look at him in the Santa hat. He's so cute. But yeah.
Gotta wipe
He
my
lived a
eyes,
good
Joy.
life.
That's so sad.
Yeah, he lived a good life. But yeah, sad news to end
Rest
it.
in
but
peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sasha.
All right. Fellas, one more day left this week. We're taking Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. Tomorrow, we're going to try and have the most festive show we can. So everybody's going to make sure they
Right.
want to tune in for that one.
I gotta remember my shirt. It's
And
over there.
we, us three here, along with Ed Habershaw, will be revealing our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. So we've been talking to all our guests about that. We've been talking to everybody about it. Now we will get to reveal our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. So we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow on the program and get launch everyone into Christmas the right way. So
I was really
I'm
torn
looking
on my
forward to your
last one. I'm anticipating no one will know what my last one was, and that's for a reason. I picked something kind of obscure. Not
he picked like an independent Polish film festival like mini movie.
No, but that's a good movie.
All right, awesome. Well, fellas, I will see you all tomorrow, and we will have a great Christmas show to send us into the holiday. So I can't wait to catch up with you then.
Awesome.
All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, that's Joy Morelli and Mike DeFusco, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We are live every single day, 3 to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Not this week, but that's because we've got Christmas, but normally Monday through Friday. And we broadcast live through Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on all of those platforms to never miss a show. You can go back and watch any past episode of the show. And you can also subscribe to the Seahawk Talk podcast to take Seahawk Talk on the go. That is through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank our guests here today. Once again, we had Jody Meridian back on for another round of her thank you. She had a long list of people that she wanted to thank and give praise to for their efforts throughout this semester. So she had a segment on Monday and today, joined by guests to get Jody's praise, and that praise is echoed by us here on Seahawk Talk. We're also joined by Janelle Iaquinto, Bill Villarreal, and Matt Hurd. So we had a great show here today. One more to go this week before Christmas. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm Andy Pizzelli. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.